For today's project, we're going to paint a winter-themed wood elf. Now, once upon a time, I was interested in Warhammer Fantasy, but I didn't have a lot of time and money, but I enjoyed painting. So over a very, very long period of time, I collected and painted a wood elf army. But right about the time I finished was about the time Games Workshop completely redid all the wood elves, put out a new book, changed the way they looked and all that stuff. So I got annoyed and I don't play Warhammer Fantasy anymore. But I still have my wood elves. And since I'm getting into Song of Blades and Heroes, I'm going to put together some different themed wood elf bands by repainting some of my old wood elf army. And so one of the war bands I'm putting together is a winter theme. Now for this one, we're going to use a couple of shades of gray, bolt gun metal and silver, some primer. Excuse me, this is Imperial primer. It's almost like a wash. And some shade and flesh wash. Some Mornfang brown, elf flesh, white, bleach bone, and this sort of aqua colored blue. This is called pool blue. I don't know what the counterpart from Citadel paints would be, but anyway, anything that's kind of an aqua color. And we're going to use not one of my fancier metal figures, but just, one of the old plastic archers, just to see how the paint scheme works. The way we're going to start out, we will do elf flesh for the face and hands. We will give the boots and the quiver an undercoat of brown, and then we'll go gray with the tunic and hose, and then we will go from there. Alright, our first bit is done. Next step, we're going to make the cloak aqua blue. Anywhere that's going to be metallic, we'll put down a base coat of bolt gun metal. And then we're going to do bleached bone on the bow. I just really like the ivory look, even if it's not as accurate as it ought to be. That's just what I really like. So that will be our next step. Alright, I've gotten all that done. I did one additional thing, and where the fletching on the arrows is going to be, I left the white primer and then just laid a little bit of the black Imperial primer over that. And that way I can just lightly dry brush it with white, and the lines should really show up. I'm going to do some highlighting now. The brown and the gray of the tunic, I'll just add some white too to lighten up, as well as the blue on the cloak. And I'll touch some mithril silver over the top of the bolt gun metal. And there's a couple places here, this circle here and a couple dots here, that I'm going to add like a bright blue to, just to give it a little contrast. And at that point we'll be ready for a wash and another highlight. Alright, we've done some highlighting. I just lightened up the brown and dry brushed the brown areas. The cloak, added a little bit of white and just dry brushed all the high points and the edges. I left the hose the same, and it's hard to tell at this point, but I did highlight the tunic with Ulthuan Gray, which is lighter. And then, of course, I used Enchanted Blue for a couple of places, Mithril Silver over the white, a little bit of white dry brush on the fletching. So now we'll do a little bit of flesh wash on the flesh and a shading over the entire model and a little more highlighting. Alright, so I finished the wash. The shading. So you now see, we've got some shadows in the low spots. It's not quite as crisp looking. He looks like he's been out in battle. He's a little grittier. Did some touch up, the high points on the cloak with the light blue, little white on the fletching and the trim on his his tunic, and mithril silver where needed. And I painted the base brown, and since it's an older model, it already had some flocking and sand glued to it, which makes it rough, which is really nice. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to very lightly dry brush it with a little bit of the aqua, topped by a little bit of white, and then I'm going to glue on some snow flocking. We'll see how it ends up. And here we have our completed Winter Wood Elf Warband. I'd already painted some of them. Here's the guy we worked on today, and his comrades at arms. Now the next couple of videos I'm going to do, one's part of a terrain project, another is, gotta love that focus. And another will be 40K related. But the next painting video I do, we're going to do an autumn Wood Elf band.